Welcome back to the Chatting Average. A little bit weird here today. It's John Sansoni, John Lieber, and Adam Busak, which is normal. But we do have a little bit of an adjustment. We're on Thursday, and there's going to be another adjustment next week's show. We're going to be Mondays because that just makes more sense. And I fear that nobody ever just communicated what days work best for them since 2025 started. And we just were like, Tuesdays, let's make it work. And all of us were like, Tuesdays barely work for me. So Mondays will be nice. We'll be able to recap the weekend before, talk about news from the week before, and then get on with our lives.
Yeah, and the Chatting Average has been on a Monday before. When it was on the radio, we had it on a Monday. And
the Monday shows just make too much sense. That's the unfortunate thing. And then we were on Fridays before too, and Fridays made sense too. You just recapped the week of games, which is what we're going to do today. Instead of the weekend games, we'll recap the last 3 or 4 days of games since Monday.
Right. Well, that's one of the great things about baseball, I think, is we recognized an issue. We made an adjustment. It's a long season. There's a lot of time to get our feet back underneath us. We're playing winning baseball again. I think this squad is going to be better in the future because of this adjustment. Mondays going forward. We're in good shape, boys.
Wow. You sure Dave Roberts never said that before?
That's what I'm saying. Hey, we are a podcast that is geared for October. We're getting ready for the postseason already.
We're making the small adjustments at the right time of the season, so when the games start getting really hot, again, it's only April. We have so much time in the season to get ourselves right. It's a game of day by day. If we take it day by day, we're going to be good.
People don't remember this. But Sansoni's on a pitch count right now. He can only say a certain amount of words per episode. Once he's full going, once he's back from that throat injury, he's going to be like, y'all haven't seen. All
right. Well, what do you say we get started with the week of games? Thoughts? Comments? Concerns?
I'm happy.
All right. Well, sounds like everybody else would like to start. So let's get that going with our first ever Thursday recap of the 2025 season. We're going to start in the American League because I want to. New York Yankees traveling to the beautiful city of Detroit, Michigan to play Detroit baseball. 3-game series. Detroit takes game 1, 6-2. Ibanez a 3-run homer. Justin Henry Malloy a 2 RBI single. Game 2, 5-0 win for Detroit. They get the shutty. Torque goes yard. McKinstry, Dingler, Carpenter go yard as well. Skubal, 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 6 Ks. But the Yankees do salvage game 3, 4-3. Ben Rice, 2-run homer. Freed goes, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 11 Ks. Toronto and Boston battling it out to figure out who is the most annoying fan base. It's Boston. 6-2, Toronto wins game 1. Springer 4-for-4 with 3 RBIs. Berrios 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. 6-1 in game 2 for Toronto. Springer goes yard. Bichette a 2 RBI single, and that gets it done. Game 3, a 2-1 win for Toronto. Bichette and Wagner each have RBIs, and then game 4 today started just over 30 minutes ago. We'll get an update for you once we come back around. Moving on to Minnesota and Kansas City. Going back to Toronto real quick, though. Toronto will have that series win going for the sweep today. Minnesota, Kansas City, the Royals 4-2 in game 1. Isbell has a home run and 2 RBIs on the day. 2-1 win for the Royals in game 2. Bottom of the 8th, Pasquantino grounds into an out, but scores Robbie Witt Jr. for the winning run. And then game 3 last night, 4-0 win for Minnesota. Wallner goes yard, so does Ty France, and Joe Ryan shuts the Royals down through 7 innings, only 2 hits with 4 Ks. Game 4 just ended, 3-2 win for Kansas City. They get the series win over a division rival. Houston and Seattle, another American League series here. Game 1, 4-3 win for Seattle. Ryan Bliss, a 2-run homer. Altuve goes yard. Polanco drives in 2 in the bottom of the 8th for the dub. Or not for the dub. Game 2, 2-1, Houston wins it. Cam Smith, RBI triple. Top of the 12th, Victor Carantini, RBI single. to put on the winning run. Game 3, 7-6 win for Seattle. Rosarena hits a grand slam. Bottom of the 9th, J-Rod, 2 RBI double, and Randy walks to score J-Rod for the walk-off. Cleveland and the Chicago White Sox get to play baseball, if that's what you want to call it. Game 1, Cleveland wins it 1-0. Nolan Jones walks with the bases loaded. White Sox. Game 2, 3-2, Cleveland. Santana hits a home run, top of the 9th. Vargas singles, scores a Maya. Talkman rounding third, injures himself while heading towards the plate. Game over, White Sox. And the other game for Game 3 just ended, 6-1. Cleveland wins it, a sweep for Cleveland. The Angels and the Rays, both teams who nobody cares where they're playing, who they're playing, what team they are, except for Mike Trout's on one of the teams. 4-3 win in the first game for the Angels. Kyron Paris becoming apparently the best home run hitter in baseball. 2-run home run. Kind of. It was stolen out of the air by everybody's favorite YouTuber, Zach Hampel. Junior Caminero with a home run. Cam Misner with the triple. Shout out him. Top of the 9th, Rengifo, RBI single for the lead. I've said it wrong every time. Game 2, 5-4 Rays win. Caballero grand slam. Paris hits it out of the park twice. Taylor Ward, Soler, and Yandy all have home runs. Game 3, 11-1 win for the Angels. They take the series today.
I think
Cam Meisner.
It is Cam Meisner. I think we should start in the Great North up in Toronto. Are you guys good with that?
Sure.
Vibes are very, very high for the Toronto Blue Jays right now. A 4-game opportunity. Game 4, obviously, has not yet started, but
they're in the bottom of the second, 0-0 right now.
We are in the bottom of the second. Excuse me. I don't have the scores in front of me. An opportunity to win the 4-game series for Toronto. They've already taken the first 3 against a Red Sox team that looks resurgent. Vibes were high for the Red Sox. I think a lot of people say after they were the first week or so of the season, they were the winners of that first week. And Toronto, I would argue, the winners of the second week right now. 3 games from the Red Sox, also riding high off of the extension of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. $500 million for the homegrown superstar, the best player in Toronto franchise history by the time he retires. I'm confident in saying that. I don't think there's a fan base out there that's riding a higher high than where Toronto's at right now. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I agree. And it's like their wins this week have been wins, not just like, hey, we scraped by. Like George Springer went 4-for-4 with 3 RBIs. Berrios, who is their number 1, went 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run against Boston. Springer and Bichette both working in Game 2, Bichette working in Game 3. Like you scrape out that one 2-1, but like if you can take a 4-game sweep from an in-division rival, you're 8-5 right now. Go up 9-5. You kind of knock Boston down a little bit in the standings. You get a little boost there.
The Angels are looking really nice. And this has been something that is surprising me. Cameron Smith, not Cam Smith, KCOU member, came up to me a couple days ago and chastised me for my AL West predictions, as well as the rest of us here at the Chatting Average, because we all picked the Angels to be last in the division, and that was the only thing we were consensus on. And right now, the Angels are 8-4, and they just had an 11-1 explosion. Fan? He's an Angels fan.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either until that. The Angels exploded today. Joe Adell, 2 home runs in the same inning. In the first inning. And that's also because Zach Littell.
In the first inning?
Zach Littell had 4 innings with 8 hits and 7 earned runs, which was great for my fantasy team. But you look at this, and this is a team that is young and also in kind of overperforming, I'd say. You look at players like Luis Rengifo is still dealing with injuries. Mike Trout, obviously is, where is he going to be, but had a fantastic day today at least 2 hits with 3 RBIs. Soler is over the average line on OPS. Logan O'Hoppe is having a great year. Shawnuel's sitting about where you expected him to be. But Kyron Paris 393 average, 1485 OPS after his game today. Last year, 440 OPS.
To know who this
There were
guy
a
is.
handful of guys, I think, that you really needed. If you're the Angels, you really needed to step up in a big way in the offseason. Joe Adell is one of them. Kyron Paris is another. Guys that kind of have yet to make that leap into major league relevancy, into being above replacement level players. And granted, it's, less than a month into the season, so I'm not exactly writing any checks for the remainder of the year. But for the time being, it appears that maybe those guys have turned a corner. Logan O'Hoppe kind of had his coming out party in the first half of last year, got injured and missed the whole second half, but it looks like he is picking up where he started off last year. These are all things that had to happen for the Angels to be good this year. Whether or not that's sustainable, I'm not ready to make any judgment calls on that. But for the time being, yes, this has been one of the most impressive stories to start the year.
I mean, they're second in the AL West right now, and I think we all agreed the AL West is weird. Like John has the A winning it.
Yeah.
Like we were all over the board, but like if they can, this is the same thing. It's like if they can have a good April, they're right in the conversation. Maybe not to win it, but to maybe finish second, get a wild card spot, which would be crazy.
If we want to stick in the division really fast, we have another series of two AL West teams, Houston, Seattle. Seattle takes 2 out of 3 in that series, and this is exactly the kind of performance that you needed to see from the Mariners specifically against Houston. They haven't been able to get over that hump in years past. If this is the team that I personally think they are, they need to continue winning series like this, and especially over opponents like Houston.
Yeah, and the other thing I'd say about the AL West, like series is a great example of it. That Houston, Seattle, they've just beat the crap out of each other for the first 2 weeks of the season. Like one team has shown that they're the best team, other than I don't even think the Rangers have played an in division series yet. Is that why? Isn't that they're sitting atop the standings? I believe. Like
this reminds me a lot.
If you played this series next week, Houston might win 2 out of 3. Like, you know what I mean? Like they are just flip flopping back and forth.
This feels a lot like the 2021 NL East.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the recent NL East, in that there's just these teams just beating the crap out of each other, these slugfest split series. Any given time you're having these players pop off. This is quickly becoming, because no team is clearly that much better than the other, one of the most fun divisions to watch. And I think every team has I think every team in baseball has a reason why you could watch them, but the AL West specifically, every team in this division, okay, well maybe not the White Sox and the Rockies. Every team in this division has something really fun about them. Really, really fun about them. Seattle's offense started turning it on in this series. That was something we criticized last year. Obviously, we talked about the Angels being this really young team that is overperforming their expectations. This is the team that I think everyone expected Ron Washington to sort of lead them in that direction. Just didn't really have the year last year. This is quickly becoming a league or a division in the league that I want to keep my eyes on.
And I think something that really helps with that too is not having any real bottom feeders in the division, right? You don't necessarily think that any of these teams could push for a World Series, for example, but you also don't have an anchor. That's the reason that the AL West maybe is more watchable than the NL East, because you don't have a Miami Marlins to contend with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I should criticize too much about the Miami Marlins. We'll get to the NL.
Yeah, you
Let's
really
get to the NL.
Any final thoughts on the American League, or should we move to the National League?
Let's go to the Nationals League. The league with the Nationals in it.
The league with the Nationals in it.
We'll talk about the Nationals too.
But a dog with the butter on it.
Butter dog with the butter on it. National League Series chicken jockeys. St. Louis and Pittsburgh playing in Pittsburgh right on the Allegheny River. Game 1, 8-4 win for the Pirates. Joey Bart 2 for 4 with the triple, a home run, dude. Bus writes these so terribly. He had a triple, a home run, 2 runs. He also had 2 RBIs. Game 2, 5-3 win for St. Louis. Victor Scott II, 2 for 5, 2 RBIs. Donovan 2 for 3 with an RBI. Game 3, 2-1. Pittsburgh, 13 innings. The worst baseball game of the century. This is the funny part where two Pirates ran into each other and died on the field. Los Angeles
still made the out.
Did still make the out. Shout out Key Brian Hayes. The Dodgers and the Nationals. Game 1. Nationals win 6-4. Wood goes yard. Finnegan 5-out save. I love those. Game 2. 8-2 win for the Nationals. Justin Woboleski spot start. Wood goes 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. Game 3, Dodgers salvage the series 6-5. Hernandez yard, Pages yard. Dodgers use 7 pitchers. Count them on your fingers, your toes. You're gonna need all of them if you have 3 toes. Miami and the New York Mets. Game 1, 2-1 win for the Mets. Soto game-winning RBI double. Game 2, 10-5 win for the New York Metropolitans. Lindor goes yard. Alonso has 5 RBIs, and Clay Holmes finally has a really good start. Game 3, 5-0 win for Miami. Matt Mervis, 9th inning, 2-run home run seals the deal. Cincinnati and San Francisco squaring off in the city where the San Fran is. Cincinnati takes game 1, 2-0 because they can't put up more than 3 runs. Blake Dunn, two-run double in the 8th, is literally the only offense of the entire game. Game 2, a 1-0 win for Cincinnati. It continues. Lodolo, 6 innings pitched, 0 runs, 3 hits. Jose Trevino RBI ground out to win it. Beautiful, beautiful Cincinnati Reds baseball. Game 3 though, there's some scoring. 14 runs between the two teams. 8-6 win though for the Giants in 10 innings. Yastrzemski a two-run 10th inning home run to win walk-off. See you later. We will see you tomorrow night kind of thing there, except they weren't playing tonight. Philadelphia and Atlanta. Game 1, 7-5 for Atlanta. Sean Murphy, 3-run home run. Riley, game-winning RBI double in the 7th. Game 2, Philadelphia, 4-3 takes it. Harper, 2-run home run. Turner, home run to win in the 9th. Game 3 is later today at 6:15 Central Time for the series. Milwaukee and Colorado, Game 3 today. 7-1 win for Milwaukee on day 1. Terang, Yelich, Contreras all have home runs. Game 2, 17-2 for Milwaukee. Milwaukee scores 7 runs in the 9th inning, which honestly felt personal and super unnecessary for Bus. And Game 3 is happening right now. Bottom 7, 1-1. We'll probably have an ending to that game by the time this is over.
There's probably a pretty good chance.
In a sentence, I've only said when I'm doing laundry and I forget to separate the colors, I'm worried about the Reds. Like, this is bad.
Dude, they won the series. They won the series. It's okay.
It's not okay when you only score 3 runs in the whole series.
Well, they did score more than 3 runs in the whole series. They actually scored 9 runs in the series, but
Yeah, okay. Game 3 does not. Game 3 is 8-6, and it's a 10-run. It's a 10-inning game. I feel like that's not exactly exemplary. Their offense has gone stagnant.
They've found
never not stagnant.
Yeah, they've found zero groove to open the year. I mean, when you're getting we talked about going into the year how many big names they really had, but how little, positional certainty there was on this lineup. When you're getting guys like Blake Dunn and he's starting every day, things are not going right. Things are not going right in Cincinnati.
Where's he starting?
Let me pull up the lineup for that day.
I believe he's an outfielder.
Don't they have 6 second basemen playing left, center, and right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, got
So,
it.
why is it so surprising that I'm worried about the Reds, John? Because some of you may notice I got a notification because I forgot to mute the chatting average general chat. And John goes, he's worried about the what?
because you didn't say the Reds. Another series I'd like to talk about as I transition
I said the
out
Reds,
of that.
right?
No.
Blake Dunn's
Mets-
starting in left field, by the way. Left field.
Oh,
did I not?
because Spears not back or what?
Did I not say the Reds? I swear I said the Reds.
You said the Reds.
You implied the Reds.
He said the Reds.
The Nationals beating the Dodgers, a little confusing. James
You're starting
Wood
Justin
having a
Robleski.
series. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, when you put together the recipe for how this Dodgers season goes wrong, the first item on that list is pitching injuries. And here we are 2.5 weeks into the season, and you're calling up Justin Robleski for a spot start. The next game is a bullpen game, 7 pitchers used. You're losing a series to the Nationals.
You can't be doing that.
Blake Snell is on the injured list.
Right.
And then they're doing that weird thing where they give both Yamamoto and Sasaki full rest for every start, so they get 6 days off instead of just going through their turn in the rotation. So that the Dodgers are in a weird spot where they already have like a extended rotation, right? But because they just have too many arms to not have an extended rotation. But when you're giving extra rest to both your Japanese guys, like, there's just no rotation. It's just patchwork. And sometimes they're going to have these weird spot starts pop up. I would like it better if you're not starting Justin Robleski in your weird spot starts. I know they've got better options. What are we doing here?
Are they going to run a 7-man rotation once everybody's healthy? Like,
it's possible.
Well, for the next series, they have Yamamoto, Sasaki, and Glasnow as their projected 3. And then other than that, you lose Blake Snell, and he's not going to make his next trip through the rotation. You
Correct.
Called up Robleski as a length guy. He's going to make another start. You have Dustin May making starts again because his throat is okay now. And this is a rotation that they're lucky, and we talked about this in the offseason. The Dodgers have like 3 different major league rotations worth of depth, and they are burning it quickly. So I don't know what exactly, like, just looking at the pitchers they have on their active roster, Landon Knack was the first pitcher they used yesterday in their bullpen game. They might end up starting to have to stretch him out again. You used every pitcher. Ben Kasparius is out there. He's the long relief guy. Is he going to have to start making starts?
He made a start in the World Series.
He did. Also, Ben Kasparius.
Yeah.
Where's number 78? The Dodgers need to start giving their pitchers better numbers.
Let's take a look at their injured list right now. And obviously not all of these guys will be back this season. I think they're expecting most of them back this season, except for a couple Tommy John guys. But you have Tony Gonsolin, Clayton Kershaw, Emmett Sheehan, Blake Snell, Gavin Stone, and by the way, still Shohei Ohtani that are not back to pitching yet. Those are all guys you expect to get back by the end of the year. They're all major league caliber starters. If they have to turn to a 7-man rotation, it's not ridiculous.
Here is my phone, right? And all of those pitchers are injured. You've got Tony Gonsolin hurt, Brusdar Graterol, Michael Grove, Edgardo Henriquez, Kyle Hurt, sounds like it.
That would make sense.
Clayton Kershaw, Michael Kopech, Evan Phillips, River Ryan, Emmett Sheehan, Blake Snell, Gavin Stone. That's a whole major league starting rotation and like most of a bullpen.
Correct.
You're getting length from guys you didn't even expect to have. Not to mention, Shohei is very slowly ramping up this year. Like I said he was going to pitch in May.
He's fully healthy to come back.
Originally I said May. I might think they might not give him starts or get him in till June.
Yeah, they may not need him.
I think they're smart to slow play him because, frankly, like, if we're being honest with ourselves, this is a team that you can just already write in with a pen that they'll be in the postseason. It doesn't matter, what happens necessarily in the regular season. They're going to get to October. And once you get to October, that's when you need Shohei Ohtani, right? Do you need him to get a spot start in the middle of the week against the Washington Nationals in April? No. So why rush him back? If they're playing him slow and he might not pitch till June or he might not pitch until July or whatever it ends up being, just make sure he's healthy. You need him for October. You don't need him for now.
Yeah. Hey, boss, good news. Colorado Rockies are up 2-1 going into the 8th.
That was not fair in the 9th inning. I watched a 92-mile-an-hour splitter from Seth Halverson sent into a pine tree last night.
I also watched that. It did not make me happy.
I don't think that's why they lost.
But it certainly didn't help.
No, they were already losing, by 10, or they were losing by 8 runs going into the inning. There was no reason for Milwaukee to do that in the 9th inning yesterday. And they're losing today because the universe is mad at them.
No, they're winning.
No, Milwaukee is losing today because the universe is mad at them for being mean yesterday.
Yeah, they were very mean.
They were mean. They hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
So I guess we go to the IL.
What are we?
The intra-league. Owie.
Ow. All right, welcome to the League pick. We got 3-game series. Texas Rangers and the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field, man. Game 1, 7-0 win for the Chicago Cubs. Michael Busch, RBI triple. Happ has 3 RBIs. Justin Steele, 7 innings pitched, 8 Ks, no runs. Game 2, 10-6 win for Chicago. They take the series there. Swanson goes yard. Langford hits a home run. Tavares has an RBI triple. So does Josh Young, but it's not enough as Chicago wins it. 6-2, though, salvaging the series. The Rangers in Game 3 yesterday. Seager homers twice. Heim a 2-run home run, and Maile 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 4 Ks. Baltimore and Arizona battling in Arizona. Game 1, a 5-1 win for Baltimore, though. O'Hearn home run. Mountcastle has 2 RBIs. Game 2, a 4-3 win for Arizona. Carroll goes yard. Josh Naylor, 2 RBI double. And then in Game 3, a 9-0 win for Arizona. Carroll goes yard again. Pavin Smith figures out how to play baseball with a 2-run home run. Naylor and Jerry Perdomo also hit one out of the field of play. San Diego Padres and the Athletics of Game 1, 5-4 win for the Padres. Cronenworth, a 2-run home run. Soderstrom homers twice, and Tatis has a home run to put him ahead. Game 2, 10-4 win for the Athletics. Machado home run, Blade home run. He had 3 RBIs on the day, and so did Urshela. And then Game 3, San Diego takes the series with a 2-1 win. Sheets and Oscar Gonzalez each with RBIs.
The continued breakout of Tyler Soderstrom has been very, very fun to see. He is just pounding baseballs. It is incredible.
And
that's how I be watching him play baseball like that. He got hit a home run right here.
So I've been following Tyler Soderstrom for a bit now, and there's a reason.
Oh.
The Athletics have this habit of trading with the Atlanta Braves to their own detriment. And
Correct.
The Braves and Athletics have a long history of shared catchers, whether that be Manny Pena, whether that be Shea Langoliers, who started as a Braves prospect, Sean Murphy. You also have
Caller Langolier.
I'm forgetting one right now. Stephen Vogt. I call her Langoliers. But Shea Langoliers got traded, and so I was keeping track of that. William Contreras also part of that trade, but not part of that trade, but like another Braves Athletics trade, but they should have kept William Contreras, sending him to Milwaukee for Estrella Ruiz, who's now a Dodger. Anyway. And one of the things I noticed that
Can Estrella Ruiz pitch?
No.
Oh.
He can play defense, which is better than a lot of, what the Dodgers can say.
But when I was looking at, I call her Langoliers, Tyler Soderstrom was already in the system as a catcher. And was much more of a bat first catcher. And so I'm really glad that now that they've decided to stop putting Seth Brown at first base and let Tyler Soderstrom try to hit, especially in a pitcher friendly park like Sutter Health, this is going to be a career year for Tyler Soderstrom. And it makes me wonder, and I don't like that I think this way about the Athletics, how soon till he's not an Athletic?
So weird thing happened. Don't ask why, but like White Sox Twitter was talking about what if the Sox traded for him.
They're never going to
Like
move him.
the Athletics.
Not to the Sox.
They have enough to give up for it, but like it's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but like it's not a bad idea. Like he's a first baseman you can build around. Like, you know what I mean? Like he can be a cornerstone in the lineup.
This is...
I call her Sodostrom.
They call her Langoliers. The Arizona Diamondbacks. What is happening with Corbin Burns?
Also, what is happening with that abbreviation? I have never seen.
Yeah, it says AZR on here.
Abbreviated as AZR.
But Corbin Burns has been...
No. Hold on. Give me a second. John, how do you spell Arizona?
So every time...
Answer the question.
Arizona. But I will say, every time I start these documents of like the series that we will cover, every time I get to Arizona, I'm always like, well, do I want to do ARZ or do I want to do AZD for Arizona Diamondbacks? Because like for a while there, I just did AZ, but I didn't like that because
you could do ARI.
But I don't like that either. I don't like when I see ARI, I don't think of the Diamondbacks. I think of the University of Arizona. So like that's my issue is like, whatever. Next question.
So the two starts that Corbin Burns has made, there's two of them. He has given up 6 earned runs, 11 hits, 11 strikeouts, and 7 walks. He has a 5.79 ERA on the season. He was tagged for 4 earned runs against the Nationals, and he has only pitched 9 1/3 innings. I hope he figures this out.
Jordan Montgomery pumpkin situation.
That's the thing.
It's
because Jordan Montgomery, pumpkin. Eduardo Rodriguez kind of turned into a pumpkin when they got him. Corbin Burns.
Madison Bumgarner.
Oh, he was a gourd, man. He wasn't even a pumpkin. And then you've got Corbin Burns, who's starting to look a little orange. Just saying.
We're on pumpkin watch.
Corbin Burns, you are on pumpkin watch. So is Zach Hampel. Can we talk about Zach Hampel?
Oh, we skipped over that.
Before we get there, I do want to say this about Corbin Burns. Last year, Blake Snell had one of the worst first months of baseball that any pitcher has ever had. And then he went on a phantom IL stint, and then he came back a month later, and he was fine for the rest of the year. It would not shock me if Corbin Burns does the exact same thing. He just needs some time to settle into the system. But for the time being, he does not look good.
Zach Hampel.
Yes, we're moving into the news portion of our show. Zach Hampel?
Yes. So Zach Hampel, for those of you who don't know, is one of baseball's unfortunate celebrities who barnstorms across the U.S. and Toronto to catch home run balls. He brings a glove. He has a shirt with his own name on it, dork, and he runs around and catches catches home runs, and then gives them to children. And you'd think, okay, that's philanthropic. But he boxes the kids out. He boxes other people out like he's playing pickup basketball, then catches it, and then acts like a hero for giving it to the kid that he shoved out of the way so he can catch the ball. So yesterday, he was in Tampa. Yes? 2 days ago?
I think No, just important note is like his whole thing is he's caught so many baseballs or whatever, like he keeps count of them. So like in his mind, him boxing everybody out is so that he can count that catch as one of his, and not letting a kid catch it, which is just stupid.
So he's in Tampa, right?
At Steinbrenner.
At George M. Steinbrenner Field, now the home of the Tampa Bay Rays for the moment. And a fly ball out to deep left field by Kyron Paris, right? And you're
Right.
thinking, okay, you're ranging back to the wall. Christopher Morel, not exactly the best defender, but he could have a beat on this one.
He did.
Leaps up.
He would have caught it.
He leaps up. And like an unfortunate Michelangelo painting, here comes Zach Hampel's hand. And just goes and grabs it. And that gets called for fan interference. And it counts as a home run. Christopher Morel's upset. The Rays are upset. Zach Hampel isn't particularly upset. The rest of the baseball world is. As they continue to be. No one likes Zach Hampel. I think baseball will be better with him gone.
I have had a personal experience with Mr. Hampel. I don't know if either of you have ever ran into him or not. I sat behind him at a Rockies and San Francisco Giants game back in 2018, it would have been. And he was just a rude little man, frankly. Just a very rude little man. And I don't love the concept of ball hawking in general, right? Like, there's something unique and genuine about the joy of a little kid catching a baseball, a home run ball, foul ball, whatever, at a baseball game. And that's how you make fans for life. If you care about growing the sport, I understand why we put nets, down the baselines to protect people, but you're robbing kids already of that opportunity to take home, once in a lifetime souvenir, making them fans for life. If you have people like Hampel in the outfield doing the same thing and robbing these little kids of fly balls, like, what are we doing here, man? It's bad for the sport.
Zach Campbell wrote a book about baseball, which I received as a gift. And I was like, oh, cool, baseball history book. I look Zach Campbell, I'm like, oh, and this was when I didn't really know who Zach Campbell was. And I look at the back, I'm like, catches, home runs, something. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then later on, he does this. I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And like, you're not a baseball historian, man.
No, like what gives him the right to write about baseball history?
Like, if anything, you are one of the unfortunate characters within its history.
Yeah, and he's made himself a storyline on countless occasions. This is not the first time that he's, popped up on a national scale, right? Like, longtime baseball fans will remember his involvement in the Alex Rodriguez 3,000 hit chase. He's just somebody that's been on the wrong side of history many times, bought his way into the game at Fort Bragg. He was the only non-military personnel on the game on base at Fort Bragg. Things like that are just ridiculous to me. He's an unfortunate character in the story of baseball. You have to talk about him, but I think the sport would be better off. Even as a content creator, I think they're better off without him.
What is next on our docket? The Red Sox Netflix doc?
Has anyone watched it yet? I haven't sat down and watched it yet.
I have not watched it yet either.
Cool.
It's cool that they have this kind of access.
The only story that has truly popped from it is the Jaron Duran stuff.
Right.
I want to speak.
I'm not
on
a big
this
Jaron Duran fan, but like, okay, yeah, pretty cool.
And that's kind of what's interesting, I think, and what is maybe most complicated about my feelings about the situation. For those of you who are unaware, Jaron Duran is a baseball player. That's why we're talking about him on this baseball podcast. He's a baseball player for the Boston Red Sox, and he is a baseball player who, unfortunately, let me not say unfortunately, he himself got himself into some hot water last year by saying a homophobic slur on a microphone or in front of a microphone that picked it up for the broadcast. He was suspended for saying the slur to a fan. Unforced error. He deserved the suspension, deserved all of the hatred that kind of went with that. Was not exactly a well-liked character. Come to find out this year via this, Netflix documentary that comes out that during the season 2022, Mr. Duran attempted suicide. He was in a very dark place. A lot of that kind of coming from baseball being a difficult sport, right? You're constantly inundated with failure. It's a difficult sport mentally for anybody, but especially somebody at the professional level that puts so much pressure on themselves. Unfortunately, this is a situation that frankly happens a lot more than the average fan knows about, in my opinion. I think you see it a lot at the college level, a lot in the minor leagues, maybe not so much at the major league level, but this is a very real problem. And kudos to Jaron Duran for speaking out about this. I'm first and foremost sorry that he was feeling that way, glad that he's no longer feeling that way, glad that he's still with us and still playing Major League Baseball for the Boston Red Sox. For me, this does not hit home as a redemption story because of the continued unforced errors that he's had in his career, not the least of which was this outburst of hatred last season.
Mm-hmm. Both can be true. You can express remorse and sympathy and well wishes and well intentions, and it's right now it's been a very good thing that the social media sphere around Major League Baseball has thrown their support towards support systems like Samaritans, like the 998 crisis hotline, like things like that, which are important and should be reflected. At the same time, Jaron Duran, for those comments last year, has lost a lot of public support. And while he's gaining some of it back as this sort of redemption arc, it does not neutralize or delegitimize what he said, and therefore they should be viewed in tandem. They are isolated incidents of each other, and I don't think it necessarily changes my opinion on either event. The event with the hot mic doesn't necessarily change my opinion about the current standings, and vice versa. So I think it's something where you have to. This is the thing with being a nationally recognized figure and being famous and having this sort of notoriety upon you is you are under the microscope for everything you do. And part of that pressure probably was related to this. So, there are no broad strokes to be painted here because you have seen a human being thrust under the microscope here. There's no way to completely wash this over in black and white. So I think we should move on, giving that the space it needs. There's been a lot of money going around. And a lot of it went to one guy in particular, just this one.
Which
Vladimir
guy?
Guerrero. One Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with the Toronto Blue Jays signed
I've
an
heard of him.
extension.
I know that guy.
I know
John,
that
do you know
guy.
the details of this extension? Because
A lot of money.
the way
$800 million.
the way I found out was I saw a graphic that said "staying home," and it's got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. walking. It's like at the Sky Dome and CN Tower, and it just made me think this is an elite graphic for me to use when I'm not going anywhere.
Exactly.
And I tried finding that tweet that said that all day yesterday, and I could not find it.
I
Yes.
saved the phone.
No.
You need to send that to me.
Yeah, put that in the
You need to
Getting
send that
Average
to me.
Sketch channel.
Maybe.
But Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is now the cornerstone, as he has been, of this Toronto Blue Jays lineup, of this organization. He's expressed he wants to be a Blue Jay for life. At this point, he will. It kind of seems like a lot of money for for a first baseman. It blows open the market for non-outfielder position players. It shatters the records.
Yeah, and Vlad is somebody that is not going to give you a lot of defensive value, and especially as he ages, he's already on the larger side. He's not exactly going to age gracefully as a result of that. Um, but I think as important as his bat is, and to be clear, his bat is very. I think you could make the argument that in his best years, he is a top 3 bat in the league. As important as his bat is, I think just the status of being a homegrown player, being Canada's main guy, right? Like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the son of Vladimir Guerrero, best years in a Montreal Expos uniform. This is somebody that is born a Canadian citizen, gets drafted by the Blue Jays, comes up through their system, and now is the best player on the Blue Jays. The symbolism of having a player of that caliber, I think, is as important to this franchise as his actual on-field output. And I think that kind of fueled them giving him maybe more money necessarily earned. But sometimes you have to overpay your guys to make sure that they stay home. And I think this is the kind of player that Toronto just could not afford to let leave.
Right.
I agree. I actually really liked this signing. It commits them to having this core of Vladdy. I don't know what Bichette's deal looks like.
His contract's up at the end of the year, and they have not re-signed him yet.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they did, based on signing Vladdy.
He needs to have a bounce back year after being, frankly, awful last year.
Right. Correct. I don't disagree with
I don't know. Toronto's a team without much of a direction right now, but I think Vladdy being locked up for 12 years means that no matter how long it takes them to get back to winning baseball, he's going to be here next time they're good.
Right, exactly, which is really cool. I mean, that's kind of like what the Sox did with Abreu. Like there's generally that player that even if you're going to hit that rebuild, you've got somebody under contract.
Correct. Any final thoughts on that, or shall we grid?
Let's grid.
Let's grid.
Hey, John, what's the Immaculate Grid?
The Immaculate Grid is a 3x3 grid with 9 intersections. So you basically have to match these teams, players with these teams or these categories based on the intersections. Today we've got row 1 being the Mariners, row 2 being the New York Metropolitans, row 3 being 40-plus career WAR, column 1 being the Phillies, column 2 being the Twins, and column 3 being a Gold Glove winner. I almost have the Twins done.
Okay, well,
if you guys have anything, let me know.
For Philly,
for the Twins, let me just finish the Twins roll.
Phillies Mariners.
Sure.
How do we feel about J.A. Happ?
I was thinking J.P. Crawford, but I like where your head's at.
J.A. Happ 0.5.
Nice. Sharp.
I can do the Twins if you guys want real quick.
If you'd like to.
Sure. Okay. Twins Seattle, I have Alex Colome. He's 0.3. Twins New York Mets, I have Trevor Hildenberger. Only because I loved that name. He's 0.07. And then Twins 40-plus career WAR, I have Steve Carlton.
Phillies Mets.
Correct.
There's quite a few that it could be. But my mind immediately went to Aaron Loop.
It's a good one. We'll put him in. We'll have a look. Of course, we'll have a look. Point 1.
Mets Gold Glover,
Sure.
Ron Darling.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh! I almost just turned my Wi-Fi off instead of clicking that.
That would be bad.
That would have been really bad.
Okay, Ron Darling in. We're good.
What do we need left?
We need a Philly with 40+ career WAR, a Gold Glove with 40+ career WAR, and a Mariners. A Mariners 40. No, a Mariners Gold Glove.
I mean, Cal Raleigh did it like last year, so obviously he's going to be. J.P. Crawford won not terribly long ago, if I remember correctly. Ichiro definitely won.
Didn't Evan White win a Gold Glove at one point?
Evan White.
I think he won a Gold Glove in his rookie year.
Sure.
I mean, Kyle Seager won once, I think.
Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, Kyle Seager won in 2014.
Fairly certain that Evan White has won a Gold Glove.
Does it have to be with the team?
He was a Mariner.
Okay, let's put it in. Point 9.
Wow.
We need 2 40+ career WARs, Phillies and Gold Glove winner.
Gold Glove 40 WAR. Ichiro did it. Sure, do Todd. Do Todd Helton. Because no one thinks of the Rockies.
Fine, we'll put a Rocky in. Point 2.
What? And the last one's Phillies?
Yeah.
Ooh. Jimmy Rollins is too common, probably.
Probably.
Phillies. The Phillies.
Any extra?
Lenny could've.
Bobby Abreu, perhaps.
Abreu for sure, probably. Not even probably.
Is 40 career?
40, yeah. He got there.
Yeah, Bobby Abreu probably.
Abreu.
That's a good one.
The man that I modeled my swing after as a young child.
2%. Rarity score of 7.
Nice. Hey, good work, team.
Our spot on the grid today was the Twins Mariners, and that's where we used Colomay. No number 1 answers.
Good work, team.
Dykstra was a number 1 answer, but not for the position we were looking at it for.
That's
number
good.
1 answer between the Phillies and the Mets. So.
Aaron Loop.
He likes.
Well.
I think this was a very good episode of the Chatting Average.
I think so, too.
This was an episode of the Chatting Average. If you're listening on Spotify, listen on YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, listen on Amazon Podcasts. And if you're listening on Amazon Podcasts,
watch on YouTube.
What are you doing? Watch on YouTube.
Twitter, at the Chatting AVG.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah,
we actually just
officially issued a pumpkin watch from our Twitter account. So make sure you go and retweet that. We don't want people getting caught in the pumpkin.
TikTok.
Also TikTok. The National Chatting Average Service did release a pumpkin watch for Corbin Burns County in Arizona. And it should be very interesting weekend of Corbin Burns watch because the conditions are right for a pumpkin year, unfortunately.
Well, Colorado Rockies currently lead a game of baseball 3-2.
Wow. more than John can say for the Braves right now.
Yep. Great. That's awesome.
They're not playing yet, so.
Nope, not
That's
yet.
true. They haven't scored 3 runs today.
Well, that's it for the chatting average today. You're going to have real close episodes today. You're going to get like back-to-back series recaps, basically.
And you're welcome.
Enjoy.
For that. You're welcome.
Yeah. Theoretically, like, we could probably do Monday, Thursdays. We won't, though.
No,
we
that's
could.
too
We
much.
don't want to.
We could.
We
But,
could, though.
eh.
We won't.
We could, but we won't. But we could.
Anyways,
All right,
everybody have a great night. I'm going to go see the Minecraft movie later tonight.
Chicken jockey.
The nether. Bye.
Bye.